Okay, so this video is about creating this forklift model in 5 minutes. All right, so let's begin with the vehicle, and I'm going to just sketch it with a rectangle, and I will make it 2 meters in height and 1.8 meter in width. I will go to appearance, and I will make it red, and I will not concern myself with giving things proper names yet. So, all right, and let's put this at x equals 0, y equals 0. Enter, right mouse click, let's zoom to extend. So let's give ourselves a little bit of space and let's put the tires in. And tires are going to be 0.25 meters in radius, and we will need 2 of them. This one right here on the end. This one right there. All right, we're going to drive it from the front. So attach with a motor. And we'll have a passive rear axle. So I'll just pin that one in. And let's put in some ground so it can drive. And sketch a rectangle. Center it on X. And I will make its width 30 meters. And I'll push it up just a little bit so it's in contact with the tires. I'll put an anchor there. I will hit the run button, just make sure things move. So that's good. We got the vehicle done. Now, the tricky part is putting kind of this rack in. So I'm going to be kind of precise on a few things here. But I'm going to basically have a 2-part rack. All right, one's attached to the vehicle. All right, so I'm just going to move that in place like that. And I will use the rigid joint to weld that in place. All right, and that looks pretty good. And I will right mouse click, take that exact same geometry and duplicate it. This is what I'll call the rack attachment or the rack lift. This is the part that will get lifted. Now I had to practice this to really kind of get this one down. All right. And so I'm putting the hydraulic cylinder in first. And this is kind of a working model 2D user interface thing, but it's not a bad way of doing it. All right. And so so that's kind of lined up, and I want it to be in this vertical orientation, and you'll see that I was kind of careful where I attached. I'm pretty sure I put it in the center. And so when we move this, and to move it, I need to anchor that vehicle. But that allows me to kind of drag it in place like this. All right. And you can see I missed a little bit right there, but I got pretty confident with these numbers. And so if I make 1 and 0, that's pretty good. And you'll see my hydraulic cylinders really lined up very nicely. It's very vertical. And let's check its default length. It is 1 meter, so that's what I wanted. And I think we're really just all set. All we need to do is put in a vertical slot that attaches, grab that again, the blue block on the right to the blue block on the left. And again, let's just kind of hit run and make sure that functions as I thought. Let's reset, delete that anchor. So that's looking pretty good. Reset. Let's put the forks in. So forks are going to be 2 meters in width and 0.1 meter in height. And I'll drag this down here too. All right, and this one should be 2.05 on X, and it should be -1 on Y. Did I get that wrong? Oh, minus 0.95. There you go. All right, and let's go weld that on too. All right, kind of done with the forklift, and that's right at 5 minutes. And I think I'll just kind of finish this video up by let's put the load in. All right. That's probably pretty good. Let's place it like right there. And let's just kind of program it to move properly. And this is where I wrote this very nifty script inside of MATLAB. And the job of the script basically is to create the transition profile. Now this one's already set with the transition on the forks, and so we're going to just copy the formula that it created for me. And this is kind of, I'll call it working model 2D speak. And it means that I can come in here and I can paste that, and that will assign the smooth transition from its initial state to our desired lift, right? Which probably worked quite well there, but it kind of reminds us we've got a few other things to do too. And so we go in here. This is the vehicle. I double click on it, gives me the blocks, gives me access to set the mass, and I will make it 1,000 kilograms. And I'll make my load. Think of these as our kind of requirements or specifications that we need to reach. And that all looks pretty good. So it goes up just fine at a constant velocity, but let's kind of mix the lift and the acceleration of the vehicle. And so we'll go back to my nifty script here. And so this time we're going to set velocity. And I did my homework on this one, so I kind of know that I'm starting off at 0 velocity, but I'm going to transition to 15.7 radians per second. And if I did my math right, that'll be 5 meters per second, which will kind of drive it in the I'll call it the negative direction. And so we just kind of hit this run button again. And again, it is a nifty script, and I do have a very nice validation right there. And I just come here and I copy that output, and now I go back to working model 2D, and I'll set that velocity with that function. All right, and hit run. Everything starts off at 0, but as soon as it starts to accelerate, there we get the failure. All right, anyways, thank you for watching.